Supplement for the used to be called the System Book of Family Law arrived in the mail today. It's now called procedure book or something like that by the State Bar, but I think everyone still calls it the System Book. And I want to talk a little bit about what the System Book is and then the updates that came out this year, and a couple of the changes, sort of a review in terms of family law. But it's, if you don't subscribe, it's a 2-volume publication put out by the State Bar of Wisconsin that my office has written for years and years, and it's a procedure and form book. Manual. It has some summary description of what the law is in Wisconsin, and then a whole series of forms that you can get on a CD, download, and utilize to your heart's content. It was a little more complicated over the last few years than it's been in the past. Some years there just aren't a lot of changes. Probably the year we had the most difficult changes is when same-sex marriage became legalized by the U.S. Supreme Court in the Oberfeld case, and we had to change certain forms that you could only do husband and wife in, and that things get a little more complex, and you could have husband or wife and wife. It wasn't quite that complex or technical this time, but probably the biggest change that we made in the supplement that is going out to our subscribers this week has to do with the change in what used to be known as the removal law and is now the relocation law. And it's a good change in terminology because the removal law dealt simply with taking a child out of state, whereas relocation is more focused on the distance from the other parent, which is more important. And the new law changed a lot of the technicalities of it, a lot of the procedures, some of which are good, some of which not so good. And if you'd like my feelings and more particulars as to where the law does a good job and where I'm not so impressed with it, take a look at my column in this month's Wisconsin Law Journal. My column deals with the new relocation law and deals with some of the pros and cons of it. What I still call the system book, the procedural manual put out by the State Bar, the supplement is trying to change, and I say trying because I think we hit them all. We did a search as to all of the forms that deal in any way whatsoever regarding what used to be called removal and is now relocation, which includes not just the process for trying to relocate with a child, but also the F&Js that have that language in there. And the supplement that's gone out this week has all new forms on that, and would suggest that you take a look at it and integrate it into your book. I do invite people that if we missed anything we could have, please let me know. Shoot me an email. About average of once a year, somebody will write me and say, "Gee, you made a mistake here. You have a typo here, or whatever." And we really do welcome that. It's the book is quite lengthy, has a lot of material in it, so we welcome anything that we may have missed in it and any ideas for improvement. The other changes this year in terms of the supplement, one of them is sort of a minor one. It has to do with the change in discoveries, which is true of all civil cases, not just family law, in limiting depositions, limiting interrogatories, and limiting requests for production. I don't find that to be a big change in family law. I don't get served with interrogatories in a lot of cases, but some we do, and unless there is an agreement of the parties or order of the court, they're now, limited to 25 interrogatories. Not a big deal, because I found most counties have a local rule that do that anyway. And the depositions, you're limited to, 7 depositions and 10 hours each, or 10 depositions and 7 hours each, whatever the limit is. I don't find depositions are done very commonly in family law, and when they are, they rarely drag out that long and take a very long period of time. But that's in the supplement as well. And then finally, in the supplement is I think we've changed all the forms now to coincide with electronic filing and e-filing of documents. And again, if you find something that's missing, please let me know. It's a fairly massive effort to go through all the forms and make sure that everything is consistent with the way we're now filing cases with the clerk of court's office. So The supplement itself makes current our form book. And for those who practice law just using forms, that should be sufficient, and that's just pushing paper. For those who are actually practicing law and providing more full legal services, it's necessary to have access to Wisconsin family law cases, and in particular, not just the published Court of Appeals cases, but the authored Court of Appeals cases that aren't published but can be cited for their persuasive, although not precedential, value. It's still very valuable. I do a case law update program along with a couple of other lawyers for the Academy, and we do it for the Judicial Convention. We always ask the judges if they find it helpful. And what judges tell us is that if there's a case that's not precedential, but it's persuasive and gives them some authority so that on appeal their chances of being affirmed are greater, they're going to take that case very, very seriously, and they'd like to know that. So there is a state bar book published, which is sort of another book along with our book on the forms on family law cases, and it's perfectly fine, but I found that book difficult to use, so we've done our own, and we have our own family law case finder, and it is a subscription service, but it's based upon like 40 years of Wisconsin cases, some highlights of cases from around the country, and contains links to the cases, and what I find most valuable is organized by case area. So the subscription information's right there, and if you'd like, please subscribe to it, and we think it'll be very helpful. And one more time, if you find anything wrong or missing, please let me know. We're always anxious to correct it. And lastly, my video series, I do these once a month along with Flu. They're archived on YouTube. You can subscribe to it right there if you'd like more information. And again, if you have any interested areas you'd like me to address that you think are controversial or would be helpful, I'd be pleased to address them in my video and also in my column in the Wisconsin Law Journal. So let me hear from you. Tell me what you like, what you don't like, what you think would be helpful, and shoot me an email right there, and let me know what sort of areas or issues of family law you find interesting and worthy of being addressed. A friendly reminder to subscribe to Wisconsin Family Law Case Finder. Subscription information is on screen for you. We have over 1,600 family law cases in Wisconsin, many cases from out of state, organized into 135 different family law subject areas. You can search by the words, search by the area, search by the case. It's an outstanding resource, and if you practice family law in Wisconsin, you ought to subscribe to it.